It says I'm live. I must trust it. I must trust the YouTubian gods. So I am live. Let's get it set up with a, do this now. Here we are. Let's set up. Whoop. This always. All right. So we're here. Hello, friends. It's been a couple weeks. I think I'll have myself a couple of these disgusting dark chocolate chickpea snacks. Trying to get fit, lose a little weight, get some energy, keep that heart going. That's what we got here. Oh, okay. So, hey, we've already got a couple people in here. Excellent. Hello, John. Hello, Who Dat Whale. Hello, Sean. Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. So yes, as I said, it's been a couple weeks, and a couple things happened. We added some new videos to the channel. Finally, we showed you folks the Saturday morning sleepover, which was a pretty great event. It ended up being really fun. It was the first one back. First one in 2019, and it was a success. We fit about 11, 12 people in there for this one. A couple new peeps joining us for the first time, and it was quite an eye-opener for them. But I think they enjoyed it. I would assume they'll be back. And that's just the first of many throughout 2019. But I hope you guys enjoyed the footage. I hope you guys enjoyed that particular episode, us reminiscing about Saturday mornings in general. And we just unleashed our a new episode of Scruffy Looking Scoundrels, which is our Star Wars show that Casey and I do. That's a good one. We talk about Kylo Ren, what we think of him as a character, and what should happen to him, and all that good stuff. And we just shot the 1984 episode of Crept from the 80s. Tansky and I. Tansky is back, even though he was at Saturday Morning Sleepover, but on the actual show, he's finally back, and we shot our 1984 episode. Casey and I also shot the 1989 episode, and specifically those years because they are celebrating anniversaries. So we got the 35th anniversary and 30th anniversary of a ton of pop culture stuff happening back then and now, and how it's still with us and regurgitating itself over and over again, and some true landmark classics, not just in the movies, but also music and television and cartoons. What debuted in 84 and 89 at the times. So we got those going on. Jay, hello! Jay is here. He's here. Hey, Duder, popping on before dinner plans. Well, thank you for popping on. I appreciate it. Once again, I appreciate all you guys who come by and check this out. Who Dat Whale? Love the 80s cartoon show and sitcom DVD sets show you did. They don't make sitcoms like they used to. Who Dat Whale? No, they do not. And thank you. we will. You should, check out our. I think you have. I think you commented on the. There's two of them so far of my movie collection, and I'm shooting the third one. Will probably be the fourth. Probably be 4 videos when it's all said and done. Um, and we'll, I'll get a little more in depth on some of the shows and stuff that I still love from back then and watch religiously every year. We'll still do that. Leroy Green, my man, Leroy is here. How about 84 versus 89? Uh, I mean, 84 beats it, hands down, for me. But we do Crept from the 80s episodes on both. And we talk about the things that were magical for each. And the anniversaries and some of the movies and things that still tickle our nodules to this day. Who Dat Whale? Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Jay, as per my email, have you seen that SNL? Oh, of course I have, Jay. Of course I've seen that SNL skit. Many say that Adam Driver does not have a sense of humor, but I say pish posh and balderdash. He certainly does. As I eat my disgusting dark chocolate chickpeas. So the headline here, the subtitle is Young at Heart. Really, that could be any subtitle for any of the shows on this channel. I just threw it on there because I'm sure at some point I'll talk about how I never want to grow up. And I never will. I'm going to be a 90-year-old man still talking about the same shit that I loved from the 80s. I want. Scratch that. I want to be a 120-year-old man. I want to live forever. Dying is not something I. No thanks. No thanks for that. Damn you! These luminous beings, these shells, these crude matter as we are. Who Dat Whale? Chris, would you and your co-hosts ever do maybe a show about your 80s arcade experiences? That is another thing I miss, the arcades. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about, for sure. It's just going to be an endless stream of magic, my friend. Nostalgia. Once again, as you've heard, as we know, we had it made back then, man. It was the time. With Morris Day as well. But man, we had it so good. So yes, there is so much for us to discuss, so much for us to interact, talk back and forth about with the magic of the 80s and everything that we grew up with as children back then. Sean, those sound so gross. He is referring to the chickpeas. Yes, they are. I am as I said, I'm trying to lose a little weight, trying to keep my ticker strong and healthy. And one of my vices is, for sure, sweets, snacks, sugar, confectionery treats. I love them, and I need to cut back big time, and so I'm doing this dark chocolate thing just to give myself a little bit of that sweetness. And I hate dark chocolate, but I gotta have the sweetness. And the chickpeas, I guess they're good for you. I don't know, something. As I drink a cherry Coke, but I don't drink, folks. I don't drink a lot of soda. We have this because of the Saturday morning sleepover. I drink a lot of water and flavored seltzer that has nothing in it. It's just bubbly, pseudo-flavored water for the seltzer stuff. This is just helping me stay up a little bit for this show, because it's probably going to be 3 hours of magic. I am alone tonight. Fine and Seek vlog. Hello, Fine and Seek vlog. Amen to that. Forever young. 100%, man. 100%. I'll talk more about that. Who that whale? Looking forward to it all. Jay, Star Wars speeder bike game. Clint Kelly, have you received a Blumpkin? Clint. Folks, Clint Kelly is in the house. Clint. Guys, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. We it disconnected for some reason. I'm not sure why. Can you see me? Are you? Can you see what's going on here? Sorry, guys. It could be the weather. This weather is terrible. As you know, we are in the polar vortex, and it is a tundra. It is Hoth out there. Yeah, my son isn't here, so you can't blame Fortnite. But Clint is part of the group. If you are a fan of any of my films, Clint has an ultimate betrayer. But he has been with the group since 2011, and he shoots all of the stuff we have done, and he is here in the chats, and he is watching you watching him. Rockwell is watching all of us. Um, well, everything, Sean, everything bad happens because of the curse. There you go. Clint Kelly's here. He knows of the curse. He knows it's true. He didn't want to believe it either until it happened too many times. He bore witness to the curse. That's right. Clint, by the way, Clint is getting married next week. This, my gosh, next week. He didn't invite me. I thought we were dear close friends, and he didn't invite me. So I will not be at his wedding. But you guys can congratulate him. He's getting married next weekend, the day of my anniversary with my wife. We were all about coming out, but he just refused. He was like, I want nothing to do with your curse. Actually, good on you, Clint, because if I did show up, my goodness, who knows what would happen. It would be like a series, a Rube Goldberg effect happening at your wedding. Like, there would be a fire, an explosion, people would lose limbs, feet would end up in buckets somehow, bananas peels would be on the floor, and people would be slipping on the dance floor. But yeah, man, you gotta stay young at heart. We're in our 40s now. This world gets increasingly shitty. Shittier and shittier as the day goes by, as the weeks, months, years go by. No reason. I mean, you can have your adult responsibilities, sure, but you don't have to give up on what made you you just because you're older. That's bullshit. People do that all the time. People think that my wife even did it. She felt like she had to, once she got a certain age, she had to stop being who she was and become what society thinks you need to be. No. Hold on to the night, forever young. Rod Stewart, man, he knew what was up. Listen to those dulcet tones. I'm good. I know it. But yeah. So like, I have never grown up. Again, I have my adult responsibilities, but for the most part, I am a man child. I still have childlike wonder. I am in awe of a lot of things. As much as I say the 80s were the most amazing and kick-ass decade of all time, and they were, we are also living now in a golden age of nerdity, geekery, and it's magnificent. But keep your youth, keep your childhood inside you, keep the child you inside you. You're gonna be better for it, believe me. In fact, the reason I have my wife now, my current wife, um, is because of my childlike wonder, who I am as a person. She really enjoyed the young in me. And to be my age, to be in my 40s, and to look like this, just good genes all around. I have the Varney gene. That's right, who dat whale. Never stop being that big kid. Fudge what everyone else thinks. You know? I too am a dad. And again, I try to balance. I try to have that. I got to be the dad. I got to have those responsibilities. I got to teach my kid right. Give him the wrongs, the do's and don'ts, the wrongs and rights. But so like his buddy, his pal, I'm a big kid that he can get embarrassed by. For the most part, I don't think he does because I'm probably the coolest dad out of any of his friend set. That's for sure. I think, he doesn't appreciate it as much now. I think when he gets older, he's really gonna appreciate our camaraderie and our geekery together. So. Gavin, what it do? We are here. Come on, we're here. Do it. Come on. Who that whale? Praise, bro. Yeah. Oh, you didn't miss anything. We didn't really talk about it, Gavin. That was all Clint. Clint, just trying to be nasty. That's all he is. He's a nasty boy. He's a nasty hero. That Clint. Again, thanks you guys for watching. Thanks you guys for talking to me. As I've said before, I really enjoy these live chats. They're something I look forward to. I can be a very depressed individual from time to time, most times. While there are many things that make me happy and give me joy, this is one of those things. So thank you for showing up all the time. You folks who are constant peeps who show up. And I love the new folk that show up. It's great, I appreciate every single one of you. There could be 2 people in the chat, and I'd love it. I'm talking to 2 people, you know what I'm saying? Sean, yeah, but he probably doesn't want to talk about that. But he's a talented guy, Clint Kelly. I mean, if you've seen any of the movies from the past 7, 8 years, then you know Clint. Clint plays Lucas in my movies. Clint plays Jeff in the movies. He shoots the stuff. Clint, is that who you, is that? We've only had you play Jeff and Lucas, right? Pretty much. Yeah, Jeff and Lucas. Yes. But brilliantly. So I'm thinking of opening up this damn Masters of the Universe. I don't want to, but I'm being really finicky and well, I'm being anal more than anything else. Yes, that Clint Kelly. Again, You've seen him in my movies. And he shoots the films. And he's the reason there was a 2-year delay for the Death of Lantern remake. So yeah, this Masters of the Universe, I showed you guys before. Again, somebody sent me this. I don't know who. And I want to keep it in the package because I want these in general. These are the new He-Man Filmation style retro toys from Super 7, and they just released pre-orders for the third wave of these style. And I want Orko, Merman, and Trapjaw. They look fantastic. But out of this line, I want She-Ra, Skeletor, Hordak. I want them bad. I love them. Super 7 or this, I know Big Bad Toy Store, because Super 7, they for the most part they drop the ball on shipping, but Big Bad Toy Store is pretty good, and I know they still have them for decent prices. But look at this, it's bugging the hell out of me. In the package, his sweet chesticular wrap is unhinged, and it's bugging the hell out of me, so I think I'm going to open them, much to my chagrin. Maybe one day I will end up getting another one to display, as I do want the series. But I gotta stick his chest straps. I gotta. I'm sorry, folks. I gotta do this. Jay, wait, Clint is in Pigpen. No, Jay, Clint helped produce and shoot Pigpen. Clint, I don't know why you can't see anybody else chatting. Who dat? I love that He-Man. I got them all and just pre-ordered the new ones. Great looking figures. Who dat whale? Yes, I want them. I never have any money, and when I do, I don't buy stuff for myself. So whoever ended up getting this for me, it's probably because it was on my wish list at the time, but it was amazing gift. Amazing gift. Oh, why is it? Oh, okay, never mind. And yes, Wave 3 looks fantastic, but I just want Orko, Merman, and Trapjaw. And Hordak is my favorite villain. I would love an original on-card Hordak from 84, 85. From the original line. I love Hordak. I love him more than Skeletor. Skeletor was great. He was just a bumbling boob. He was just a fodder. He was hilarious. But Hordak to me was always like a badass. I still have all my original Masters of the Universe all wrapped and bagged up in my parents' attic. Thundercats, Transformers, etc. Good stuff. Gavin, man, I want it all. Give it to me. You know, we'll do some trades. You want some movies? I'll trade you. I'll trade you, man. I still have some of my original He-Man stuff. And as I said, I'm recollecting certain lines that I had as a kid that I loved, but not entire lines, just the ones that I knew that I had. And I'm doing that with several different. We're gonna do a toy/Grail episode for sure, and that's probably gonna be a very long episode. Yes, Clint Hordak does rule. You know it, brother. Who dat? Yes, I love the Horde. My favorite faction, better than Skeletor and Vampire. My favorite character is Leech. I love the Horde as well. I'm trying to collect the Horde once again, carded from back then. I have Grizzlor hanging up, but I want Mantenna. I want the Leech Man. I want Jimmy Van Brunt and Jim Varney, John Stamos. Yeah, I mean, Stinkor stunk, man. Stinkor stunk. I can still smell what Stinkor smelled like. And in fact, every time I go to like a toy show or something and I see Stinkor, I want them complete. I don't want just like a random $5 shitty Stinkor. I want his weapons and his chest case and everything. But it's interesting. The stink is barely there every time I pick up a Stinkor. It's rare that I pick up a Stinkor and I still smell his stink, his stoink, stoinkor. That's coming from Stoinky Beach. Who Dat Whale? Yes, I loved Moss Man as well. Anytime they would flock the action figures back then, so choice, so choice. David, hello, David. I see you. You're here. We're talking all things. We're talking He-Man and Clint Kelly's betrayal and. Oh, by the way, Clint's getting married next week. Give him some love. And I'm opening this when I don't want to. So let's do this. God damn it. Telling you, one day I will get. One day I want to. See if I can try to keep. Maybe I can. Maybe I can salvage this packaging. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. This is good. Like this. Okay, we'll just keep that in there. Maybe I'll do this. Not too bad. Not too shabby. I'll keep the packaging. Oh, actually, I'll just fix him and throw him back in the packaging. Yeah? Ooh. And they did a good job with these. Oh, look at this. Okay, let me fix this. Let me rectify this. God damn it. There we go. All right. Woo! Look, they even got the swivel. Like back in the day. Nice tight joints. Oh, this is great. Nice. All right, he's got his weapons. Ooh, they got the half sword thing. I like that. So that you can interact with Skeletor's power sword. Have the two halves. The mythology lives on. That's right. Toit like a tiger. Toiger, indeed. Yeah, that's dope. I think I'm gonna try to put this right back in there. Maybe seal it back up with some crazy glue. I'm a weirdo like that. Oh, come on now. Yeah? Yeah? Alright, not too bad. Alright, that's better. Made it work. I'll just close it up. Yay! Oh man, that makes me. I want to go and grab the original. I mean, he's loosey goosey as fudge. You know, those rubber bands snap and they get loose, and those legs come flying off. I'm shocked that my original He-Man is still in the shape it is. Same with Skeletor. Last year for River's birthday, which is coming up, both my wife and River's birthday is the same month, a week apart. Ugh. Headaches, man. Headaches. Trying to get them good dope stuff. But last year, River wanted all vintage He-Man stuff. A couple of pals pulled some sweet magic, and I was able to procure a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to recollect, but I got them for River, so now they're all in. Yeah, he enjoyed it. Yo, you gotta read this book, guys. Whatever happened to the pudding pops? This is the lost toys, tastes, and trends of the 70s and 80s. It's a great book. In fact, I've got like a crap ton of 80s books, nostalgia books like that. I'm collecting TV guides from the 80s because I love it. I've been I go through them again. TV guides were a huge part of our 80s lives back then, for sure. Going through, circling or checking everything that we want to see, certain days, certain nights. Saturday mornings, you got those Saturday morning preview pages in there. So good. Jay, dude, same here. Wife and daughter are a week apart. Yeah, it's killer. It's killer. I do my best. I do my best to give them some happiness and fun. Clint, you want those? You want those NECA Jason figures that look like the He-Man stuff? You know, seeing it in my hand, I just was like, ugh, they don't do it for me. But what does do it for me are the Thundercats versions of those. I want those Thundercats versions. Those NECA He-Man style Thundercat guys. I want them. And I will open them and display them and play with them. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't do it for me. They didn't look. They just, I love what they were going for. It just didn't. Yes, Clint, you had the Movie Maniacs figures. Everyone had the Movie Maniacs figures. I mean, if you were a horror fan, you definitely got those McFarlane Movie Maniacs figures. I was actually working at a KB when those first came out, and we got those. You know, we had to do the processing in the back of KB, and employees got to put what they want aside out of all the fresh boxes. So when the McFarlane figures first came out, I put aside my Freddy and my Jason and my James Van Brunt and my John Stamoses, and I put them aside, so I got those before anybody else. Okay, I'm gonna dip into more of this. Casey just ended up selling his original Michael Myers in package from the Movie Maniacs line. I think he sold it for like $50. Gavin, yes, I agree. I like those NECA Godzilla toys. I think they're dope. I would like them. River and I collect Godzilla. We get the thing about. I mean, he's got a pretty good collection. I mean, I spent a fortune on them because, like, for the most part, those vinyl figures ridiculously expensive. But I told him, you know, if you want to keep getting Godzilla, we can go for these NECA ones. You know, $25. Not bad. That new one they got coming out, the from King Kong versus Godzilla, the NECA toy from the old movie, that looks fantastic. Of Godzilla, I love Godzilla, man. I know Clint loves Godzilla. I know Gavin loves Godzilla. I know Sean loves Godzilla in here. Godzilla. I mean, who again? You know, growing up in the '80s, you just saw Godzilla movies. They were everywhere. Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. the afternoon movies, WPIX, Channel 11 or Channel 9 would show back to back Godzilla films. USA, so great. And I made it a point, that when River was little, much like everything 80s that I pushed on him, I pushed Godzilla on him. And, I love being a monster fan, a monster kid. I love it. Gavin, first movie I watched versus Mega Godzilla on a Saturday with my dad. Those were the days, man. I love watching it. I love watching that stuff with River. You know, it's cool because it's weird. Some movies, some shows or cartoons or anything pop culture that I show him, some things he just straight up is like, nah, I can't do that. It's hokey and cheesy and you know, and then some things he absolutely adored what he loves and what he doesn't from the time period. And then Godzilla, I always thought as he got older, I always thought that he would stop digging Godzilla because of how cheesy it was, but he still loves it. And thank Crom that we're getting new modern Godzilla movies and monster movies and kaiju movies and all that stuff. I mean, so fun. Clint, I know you a Godzilla fan. In fact, we gotta, one of these times when you come out here, we should just do a Godzilla marathon on the in the home theater. Be a fun time, man. I miss Clint, folks. I don't get to see Clint. He betrayed me and moved to Florida many moons ago, and I don't get to see him that much. Um, uh, we used to be mother and child, but now it's more like mother and redheaded stepchild. It's rough. I miss you, Clint. Thank Crom. I'm gonna see you in April, which is suspiciously not on your wedding day next week. Hmm. What's a guy to do? And Clint himself, Clint has been to the Saturday morning sleepovers. I think he's been to two or three out of the 2.5 years we've done them. He's I think he's been to two or three. So he knows of the legend of the Saturday morning sleepover. He knows how epic and crazy they are. You got to be a true warrior to sit through 8 to 12 hours of 80s and early 90s TV cartoons, commercials, and nostalgia like that. Mm. 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 It's been good. I've been coming up here. As I said, I get depressed a lot, get down. I get in my own head. I worry a lot. I stress a lot. You know, there's a lot to love and be happy about in life and in my life. And sometimes that depression and sadness can cloud all of that shit. Um, and if you are a person who deals with that stuff, you gotta sort of get away and have your own space to just sort of relax and deal with things. And you would think that the home theater would do that for me. Sometimes it does, but since I rearranged the 80s room and got it to where it's a really fun setup and comfortable up here, I've been coming in here and just laying on the couch, throwing on an 80s show, um, and just getting lost. And it's really been helping. Um, there's a lot of shows and movies I watch over and over again, year after year after year. It's like an annual thing. One of those shows is Family Ties. I absolutely love Family Ties. I've told the story before. Um, the last episode of Family Ties in 1989 was a big deal. I cried. My family cried. And then I went the next. We went to school. I went to school, um, and my friend Richard was sitting at his desk, and his head was down, and he was like weeping. And I go up to Richard. I'm like, buddy, like, what's wrong? And he looks up at me, and he's got tears in his eyes. He's like, that last episode of Family Ties, I can't believe Family Ties is over. I love the Keatons. Blah, blah, blah. Didn't matter that I cried as well, while watching the episode as it aired. I was laughing my ass off. And I think most of the people around us too, once they heard why he was crying. It's just it was it affected you, man. I've told this story before, but um, I didn't have a dad. I don't have a dad. I have a dad, but he's not in my life. He wasn't in my life growing up, and he's not really in my life now. I know him. I've hung out with him before. I have like other. I have a proper sibling. I do have a sister from my mother, but my dad has a whole other family and had a whole other family. So I've got like brothers and sisters on that whole thing, but I've never really had a relationship. So my my dads were dads from TV. So you know Stephen Keaton, Jason Seaver, Alan Thicke from Growing Pains, and Tony Maselli from Who's the Boss, Angela, Samantha, Jonathan. Those were my dads. Like I loved those television shows, and in a way, because I absolutely adore Facts of Life, and I did back then, and I do now. I guess Mrs. Garrett was like my. I had a mom. Again, she was in my life, but she didn't raise me. I was raised by my great grandparents and my great aunt, but my mom was like right down the street. We all sort of lived in the vicinity of each other. My mom was more like my friend because she was a kid when she had me. She was like 16. Um, so these television parents or parental figures were the people that I looked up to and I got values from. And well, anyway, so Family Ties is like a warm blanket for me, and I watch Family Ties every single year. And it has been, when I come into this room or even at night before bed, Katie is like, oh my god, not Family Ties again. But there's just stuff that I absolutely adore and love, and it helps me focus and clear away the shit that's up here, and just focus on the good. And those shows give me the good, and makes me, as silly as it is, it makes me see that there is good in my life and around me. So sorry, I'm rambling, guys. I will gladly take questions, and we'll talk. Godzilla soon. Yes, Clint. Clint. Yes, he's talking about the Saturday morning sleepovers. Clint has been to 3 of them, and yes, he's saying the cartoons can be rough. I've talked about that on the Saturday morning sleepover episode that is down here on the channel. Yes, so much so that after now we're at, I don't know how many we've done in over 2 years of the Saturday morning sleepover, but now I will only do maybe 2 full cartoons, and the rest of the cartoon stuff in the programming will just be the intros of the cartoons. Because let's face it, most of the time the intro songs are the best part of some of the cartoons that we grew up and love. But I used to fully intercut the cartoons with the TV shows and the commercials early on in the Saturday morning sleepover. And the more we did it, the more we saw the audience or the people who would come be like, it would really bring down the room. The crowd got a little rough. Because some of those cartoons are just, you know, real turd burgers. It didn't matter that we loved them. So. This is. Something's going on here. What the? What the what? Clint. Yes, the Gary Coleman show where he was a dead kid. He was an angel, and he would come down and help right wrongs with other kids. Poor Gary Coleman, in cartoon form, was a dead angel. Who dat whale? Absolutely agree. Love, love, love Masters of the Universe. Love He-Man. And I'll have arguments with people who like think that cartoon. Same with Transformers. The fucking cartoon now, abysmal. Those cartoons are abysmal. Doesn't matter if you love the property, love the franchise. You can still love all that stuff. You can still have your nostalgic feelings for that stuff. But you gotta be honest with yourself, folks. Those cartoons are fucking terrible. There are cartoons that still hold up. Absolutely. And I have a bunch of them. But man, He-Man and Transformers do not fucking hold up. They just don't. But I certainly watch them from time to time because they make me feel good. They make me smile. My son, again, why he wanted all those He-Man toys last year, because he was on a raging He-Man and She-Ra kick. And he knew how crappy those cartoons were, but he watched all of them, man. Transformers too. He loves that stuff. But he can, he knows when it's garbage. Exactly. I absolutely agree with you, Who Dat Whale. She-Ra holds up better than He-Man for sure. Real Ghostbusters absolutely 100% holds up. You're damn right. They had, Straczynski. They had him on that show. He is a fantastic writer. To this day, he's a fantastic writer. Great comic book writer, great television writer. They gave a shit. Real Ghostbusters is fantastic. What do you think of the new She-Ra? Because I really like it. I dig it, man. So does River. After we watched it, we like did it so fast. We watched it so fast. We were like, God damn, like put out some new toys. I see Super 7 is putting out toys, but ugh, God, I have a real issue with Super 7. I just do. I can't. I don't know if you've heard my rant before, but I have a rant about Super 7 in general, or Masters of the Universe in general, that I can't stand that you can't readily walk into a place and buy Masters of the Universe stuff anymore. It just pisses me off to no end. I hate that it's like a specialty thing. I hate that like you have to almost have a membership or get in line. Like the Maddie Collector stuff. Drove me insane. It wasn't even worth it. Like, what the fuck, man? It's He-Man. It's Masters of the... And now this She-Ra thing, and I felt like because DreamWorks was putting out the animated show, they were going to do what they did with Voltron, where you could readily get the new Voltron stuff in stores. Put fucking She-Ra out back in stores. I saw those Super 7 designs. What, is it going to cost me fucking $50 to get those She-Ra toys, and then 12 months before they're sent to me? Bullshit. So crazy. Who Dat Whale? I'll disagree on that. I didn't like the toy line, and I didn't like the cartoon back then, and I certainly don't now. Yeah, who that whale? New Shira to me was okay. I don't judge people; their opinions are different, but just didn't like it. Hey, I get it. I get it. Like just now, I just said I didn't. Toxic Crusaders just wasn't for me. And it's never like an age thing either. You know, when certain things hit back then, most people will say, "Oh, well, it was you know, I was way past that." It doesn't matter. For me, it didn't matter. It's just if it connected with me or not. Because I was again, I never grew up. So when I was going into my teens in the late '80s, going into my you know 20s in the late '90s, didn't matter. I was still collecting toys, still watching cartoons, still doing all that stuff. It's just certain things didn't hit with me. It didn't appeal to me, so I didn't watch it. So it didn't, people who, ugh, cartoons when I was 14, 15, no way. No, no, I still watch cartoons. I still did everything that I did. It just, ugh, if it didn't appeal to me. Now I loved Trauma. I grew up with Trauma. Was lucky enough to work with Trauma for 10 years. But back then, I certainly loved Trauma. I just the cartoon and the toy just didn't appeal to me. Clint Kelly, Mighty Max, toys and cartoons are my all-time favorites. Yes. Who Dat Whale again? I never got into Street Sharks. That just wasn't something that appealed to me. Um, all those maybe it was like a all those mutant things that happened after Turtles was just like to me was like a these are just like shit offs of the Turtles. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Sean, oh, mine will always be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Absolutely, Turtles were a huge thing to me, to most of us. Who Dat Whale, and I bought Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Yes, that I did watch. I absolutely watched because I was a Bill and Ted freak. That cartoon was coming out around the time Bogus Journey was hitting, and that's when the toys came out. The Kenner toys, I had almost all of those as well. Up until recently, I still had my original Bill and Ted figures, and unfortunately, stupidly, I sold them because one needs money, and I sold it. But I'll get them back. I absolutely will get them back. And one of these, I mean, as I said, we will do a show about toys and holy grails and things we want back in our collection, um, because it is such a huge part of who us, kids growing up in the '80s are, why we do it to this day. Man, that would be fantastic to grab all those again. Luckily, they're not too bad. People aren't hiking those up. I mean, if you want the phone booth again, I've seen the phone booth. People pay $115 for that thing. Ridiculous, ridiculous. We're the toxic crusaders. Oh, that we're pretty sure of. Hmm. Maison glace. On ami. Yeah, another thing. Yeah, I didn't get into Captain Planet at all, Sean. much for an order of ribs? Sean, I didn't watch Gargoyles either, but I thought the concept was awesome. Those Disney cartoons back then, the only one I ever watched was DuckTales. The others just did not appeal to me. I don't know why DuckTales did. Clint, could you imagine if Troma did Toxic Crusaders now? It'd be terrible. Absolutely, it would be fucking abysmal. Gavin, yes, the Wonder Twins did activate. um, Gavin says Captain was pretty good. I miss Captain N. I have the DVD set of Captain N. Who Dat Whale? Love that show. It didn't, regardless of how they interpreted Simon Belmont and Mega Man. At least Kid Icarus looked like Kid Icarus. But that was a great show. Sean, love DuckTales, but the new one is so bad. Have to disagree. I enjoy the new DuckTales. I think it's pretty good. Who Dat Whale, nice. It's like 150 on eBay. That's ridiculous. I mean, ugh. That's another thing I could go off on the ridiculous. I mean, the people who hike up these prices for toys and nostalgia is because like they know somebody out there is going to pay those prices, but that stuff just is not worth those prices. Again, it could be to somebody. Somebody might be willing, because they want it that much, to pay ridiculous prices, but give me a break, man. It depends on where you are. If you're in Canada, it's creme. If you're in the US, it's cream. Here, we would go to the twist and cream. But in Canada, we would go to the twist and creme. NES Addict, hello! Hello! Thank you for joining. Your channel is fantastic, my friend. NES Addict. Go check out NES Addict if you are a nostalgic game lover. His channel is superb. Great stuff. Nostalgic, very juicy nostalgia. Indeed. Truth be told, I mean, if you've checked out our channel and you see what we have, it's more. Yes, video games will be a part of it, but for me, I was born in '77. The video game thing, while I did get them as they were coming out, so I did have Nintendo, I did have Super Nintendo, I had Sega Genesis, which was my favorite Christmas present of 1989, the Sega Genesis. I didn't get obsessed with it like so many kids did. So I have my favorites of the video game thing, and to this day, I still very much prefer Sega Genesis, Nintendo, and Super Nintendo out of anything. I don't play a lot of modern games. My son and my wife are the psycho gamers of everything, modern and old. But for me, I like to stick to the stuff that I had growing up '80s. So I only get the games that I like. But man, like, yes, Clint, go sub to NES Addict for shout. Sega. NES addict. I love all things 80s. I actually didn't get obsessed with it as a kid, but for some reason, around 5 years ago, Nintendo struck a chord with me. Um, it's. I mean, I think it's because it was everywhere back then. It was part of our living. It was part of our life. Those visuals, the promos, everything was it was everywhere. Um, that's why certainly love Nintendo and all those things still. My personal playing and whatnot aside, it's a part of the aesthetic of the 80s. And arcades, going into the arcades and playing what was and probably is still my favorite arcade game of the 80s. It's very simple. It's Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. Um, and then when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade hit the arcades, that became my favorite. And then that became my favorite Nintendo game, Turtles 2 arcade. But yeah, I think it's just because it was part of the landscape of growing up 80s. Part of the aesthetic, and that's why any sort of video game, anything, I glom onto that because of the nostalgic magic and pull that it had for me. It absolutely took the world by storm, and games are still taking the world by storm. The Sega Channel. Rest in peace. Yes, Sean was responsible for one of the coolest gifts for my wife for Christmas, and she loves it. And I played some of those games as well. Gavin, so you still have the? Yeah, I preferred the Gen 1 Genesis. Um, my friends had the Master System, so I did play some of those games, but I liked how you could still play the Master System games on Genesis. Um, Again, there's something about those boxes as well. The original, those boxes that were just white with the checkered design and then the picture in the middle. Um, but my favorite Sega Genesis game, which is terrible, but I loved it. I loved it when that game came out. It was like all consuming. Was Moonwalker, and I have it over there. I absolutely loved it. Yes, Sean, I know, I did. I did. I played. I did play Moonwalker on the Mini. I do have it over there, but like sadly, I bought a Sega Genesis again to have to play all the games that I do love, and it didn't work. Um, because I love the tangibility. I still same with my wife. She collects the games, but she did bow to the Mini. Uh, but up here now, I just want to get the original NES and another working Sega Genesis up here, so I can play the games that I have up here in the '80s room. I mean, that would be a good episode too, probably to do. Crept from the '80s, our favorite video game consoles and games that we loved from back then. Um, Adios addict, I'm back, I'm back. Come on, you're back. You're back. I'm back. She's back. This coke, it's back. Yeah, I don't know what it was about Moonwalker. Just, I mean, I love Michael Jackson. I loved Michael Jackson then. I love Michael Jackson now. But Moonwalker, it's such a terrible game. But I absolutely loved it. Um, yeah, a couple Christmases ago, my son got it for me because he knew I wanted it back in my collection. I think he only spent $40 for it, which was pretty good because I know we were looking around at shows, toy shows and whatnot, and it was going for like $90 to $100, which is ridiculous. Jamo. Clint, what would I say to Arnold if we met? I have no idea. Um, I love that man. You know that, Clint. If it's not evident. If you guys want to check out the house tour and the home theater tour, we got a video down here of that. We have a lot of Arnold memorabilia. Both my wife and I love him. And it's the one celebrity that my wife said she would probably pay $1,000 to meet and do a photo op and talk to. I definitely wouldn't, but I do love Arnold, so I don't know what I would say to him. I don't know. What would you say to Arnold that Arnold has not heard? It's like that with any sort of celebrity or somebody that you admire, or it's like what do you say? You know? They have literally heard everything, you know? I don't know. I just, to them it's fleeting. It's like seconds or minutes of nothingness. I mean, there are celebrities out there who know how much it means to the person and makes it a little extra special for that person. Um, but I don't know. He recently started doing shows too, Clint. Like, he is charging a lot of money. Well, he isn't, but whoever the handlers are, they're charging a lot of money. Um, but he's up there, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think I would, out of reflex, just automatically go into my Arnold impression, and it would just not be a good thing. But I think I would do it. NES Addict, absolutely 100% agree. I wish I could see MJ in concert, him and Prince. Totally agree. Those two, I mean, geniuses. Um, Prince and Michael Jackson were a huge part of my life back then and a huge part of my life now. Clint can attest to this. We love these two men. Um, it would have been. I mean, that's it's something I always say. If we were able to have a time machine, it's one of the things that I would absolutely 100% do if I was able to go back for a while, is hit up one of those shows. Clint, full cast reunion of Back to the Future is coming to Orlando. Clint, yeah, the Back to the Future cast reunion thing, they do a lot. They've done it. I was at a show a few years ago where they did it too, and Katie was gonna get me the Michael J. Fox photo op and um, autograph. And then when I saw how much it was, I was like, no, do not do that. I would absolutely 100% love to meet Michael J. Fox, but it's just and Michael, at least it all goes to the charity, the for the Parkinson's disease, which is great, fantastic, but it's just, whew, it's a lot of money. What's that? Sean Prince is one of my favorite of all times. Agreed. NES Addict. My favorite celeb as a kid was Macaulay Culkin. When he did the angry video, it blew my mind. Gavin, I hear Rick Moranis is kind of making a comeback. I wouldn't be surprised if Rick ends up in the new Ghostbusters. You know, I know he did the voice of Dark Helmet again for the Goldbergs, which was great. Um, and he hasn't really retired. You know, he even said that he didn't retire. He's just the project needs to hit him. It needs to appeal to him. Absolutely, only do what you feel you want to do. What you feel will strike a chord is going to be worthy of your time to come out and do. Absolutely. I mean, that Ghostbusters 3 in general, the fact that they're shooting and it's going to be out for summer next year is just fantastic. I love that they have been secretly putting this movie together and it's already been written and they're doing pre-production and all that stuff. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. You know, like I said in the last live show, the Ghostbusters show, it could end up shitty, but I'm going to choose to be positive and it could be a really entertaining movie. And I love the Ghostbusters franchise. So who wants to come out and do Saturday morning sleepover? What lucky fans are going to come to Saturday morning sleepover? And then Clint. Sure. Yeah. We can't even get Billy Garbarina. Who dat whale? Yeah, I say it almost every single show. Um, I don't do dramas, man. You know, there's certain dramas, but they have to be connected to some sort of genre for me to enjoy them. But you know, stuff that's like real life. You're already living that life. Why would I want to watch it on screen? It's got to have something special to it. Um, you know, take for example like Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, it's a bio, so it's real life, but it's about one of the greatest fucking singers and rock bands of all time, Queen. So you're damn right I'm gonna watch it. Um, but you know, I'm not watching like fucking shitty ass dramas about God knows what and Crom knows who. Forget that. Yes, it's a comic book, Elf. I've got quite a few issues of the Elf comic. In fact, I've got quite a few issues of a lot of 80s properties in comic form. Because I very much enjoyed those comics. I mean, I love Elf anyway. Um, that's another. I mean, Elf. Not just. I mean, it's just such a huge aesthetically visual thing from the '80s. Elf. Elf, man. My God. Ooh, that's rough. Who dat whale? I'm sorry. Absolutely. Yeah. Fuck the real world. You know. It's got to have that genre twist. It's got to have something that is more human than human for me to enjoy it. Um, I can't do real life type shit. It's so we live it. It's mundane. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch the human drama. I just don't. Can't do it. Ugh. That isn't entertaining to me. That's not entertainment to me. Now, if that human drama happens to have warriors or dragons or time travel or creatures or supernatural spirits and sprites or whatever, absolutely, giant robots. I got Elf and I got Cherry over there. You guys want to see that? Who that well? It can get me depressed thinking about my kids' life for when they get older. That's why I work third shift. I keep me occupied, keeping my head. I will say that as well. I There isn't a night that goes by where I don't worry about my son. Absolutely. Amongst a million and two other things that I worry about every single fucking night as I lay my head down. I have a very hard time sleeping. My brain does not shut off. It's been like that for years and years and years. But certainly having a 12 next month, a 12-year-old son, knowing the hardships that are ahead, knowing who he is as a human right now and the things that he's going through and the changes and trying to relate to those things and remember what it was like and certainly going forward into this shitbag of a world. Um, I do. I worry for him. I worry about his education. I worry about his what he's going to do with his life. If he's going to be, if he's going to go the right way. And yeah, every single night, my friend, I worry about that kid. I love him so much. It's a shitty thing to say, but I wonder like why people still want to have kids in this day and age. It's I don't know, man. I mean, it's always gonna get up and down. There's always ups and downs, and this shit time that's happening now, I think it will get better, but it will also get worse again. It's just gonna ebb and flow, you know. I think people need to stop and think about the fact that in the end we matter not. Us humans matter not. We are on a rock. We are on a space rock floating in an infinite space out in the middle of infinite and beyond galaxy, beyond galaxies, beyond galaxies. We are on a rock, and we matter not. And I think when people actually like take the time to think about things like that, other things might not be so important, and people can start thinking about what is important. So, yeah, Hang on to that youth, folks. Anything that makes you happy, anything that makes you smile, anything that keeps you young at heart, you know. Even if it's material possessions, even if it's material shit, like all of this stuff, like the things that I love, the things that I grew up with, the things that I want again. You know, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just I just want to love as much as I can love, like the shit that I like, make people smile, make people laugh, get some smiles, get some laughs, you know, all that stuff. Come on, folks. You know it. Feel the passion. Feel the fury. Thundercats are loose. That's right, who dat whale. You know, and it's tough. It can be tough because you can get beat down every single day, and it's tough. It's tough to hold on to who you are as a person while dealing with other people in life and who they are as people. And um, you know, I learned a long time ago that you can't please everybody. You just got to be you. And if people don't like it, there's nothing you can do. People like it, fantastic. You have some good people behind you. Luckily, um, I've got a lot of good people and amazing people in my life. But it can still get, you know, through all of that, you still feel like something isn't right, you know. And people have it a lot worse than we do. Um, and it's tough not to. It's tough to complain when you shouldn't be complaining, but it's also so easy to complain. But you shouldn't complain. It's just a never-ending circle of crazy shit, my friends. But let's be positive and let's try to be having some good thoughts. And we are cruising along here. I am gonna be here for a little bit longer. It's only 83 minutes in, so I think I can rock this out until 8:30, possibly 9 o'clock, depending on if you guys still want to talk. Clint Kelly, my good friend and ultimate betrayer, Clint. When's the last time you've had a passion flaky? Folks, I've talked about the passion flaky. If you've seen any of my films, if you've heard me rant and rave about the passion flaky throughout the years, certainly in any of these videos, the passion flaky is a real thing. It is a delicious, weird, odd puff pastry that originated in Canada, seeped down into the US of A. Back in the day, it was my favorite go-to treat other than Oreos and Chips Ahoy. And then in 1990, it suddenly disappeared. I've told this story many times, and it resurfaced in 2005 when I was in Canada and I saw it being sold in Canada under the name Passion Flaky from Vachon, which it was not called that when I was growing up in the 80s, early 90s, with the Passion Flaky or whatever the fuck it was called back then. But it is an amazing, amazing treat. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's ridiculous. Now, in the U.S., it is under Entenmann's. So Entenmann's makes them. It's a raspberry with cream filling inside with a puffy, light, flaky pastry on the outside with sprinkled sugar on top. Entenmann's, you can get them. Passion Flaky, they go under many names, but they are the Passion Flaky, and they are amazing. They're out there. Clint, when is the last time I had one? I'm gonna say it's been about a month. Again, I've been trying to cut down on a lot of the sweets. Saturday morning sleepover did not help. I was doing really good. I was down pounds. I was feeling good. I was, you know, I still exercise almost every single day. I do like one off. I do every other day. But man, Saturday morning sleepover, because it's mandatory that you eat garbage through the whole Saturday morning sleepover, and we absolutely ate garbage, and that kind of knocked me off. Greg, hello Greg, you are here. In this day and age of remakes and reboots and bringing back old shows and such, Do you think we'll ever get a Goonies sequel? Um, do I ever think we'll get a Goonies sequel? I have I'll never say no. Out of anything, I'll never say no because you just don't know. At one point or another, I think everything from the '80s is going to get redone or reshuffled and turned into a reboot, sequel, requel, whatever, what have you. Um, I don't know. I certainly would see it. I don't write that stuff off. I am not a reboot, requel, rehash, remake hater. I'm not one of those people. It doesn't matter to me. You have the things you loved. You still have the things you loved. You can watch them. You can adore them. You can cherish them. A remake or reboot or any of that crap doesn't change a goddamn thing. Um, so, and if that certain thing, whatever it is, that they're remaking or rebooting or turning into a sequel after 25 years or whatever, appeals to you, give it a shot. You might like it. If not, no fuss, no muss, whatever. That's my feeling on all that shit. Yeah, something like that definitely should have been done years ago if they were to do a Goonies sequel, and they were trying for years and years. Um, but again, in this day and age, I wouldn't put it past any of those studios to want to try something new. Sometimes it works, man. Oftentimes not. But again, no fuss, no muss. Doesn't change anything. Can you believe it's been 10 years since we got a Friday the 13th movie? We are going to get a new Friday the 13th movie. Friday the 13th is always going to be a thing. Jason will always be a thing. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's just, man, that's a long wait for a new Friday the 13th movie. Something that's simple. So simple to do. Why am I talking Friday the 13th is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I am a giant horror fan. Have been since I was a kid. Um, Friday the 13th is one of the biggies for me. Absolutely. The franchise. So I absolutely love Jason, love Friday the 13th. We will get another one, but goddamn, like these idiots who are making these decisions, always trying to reinvent the wheel. With Friday the 13th? Really? Do you need to? No, you don't need to. Here's what you need to do. Set it in the 80s. Have a camp. Have counselors. Have kids. Bloop. Plop Jason down. And go for 90 minutes. Let him do his thing. Is it that fucking hard? Apparently, it is. Because it's been 10 years since we got a Friday the 13th movie. Because they're constantly trying to figure out, what do we do with this franchise? What do we do with Jason? What can we do? Drives me insane, folks. Now, do I want to see more Nightmare on Elm Street, which is also one of my favorite horror franchises of all time, the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Um, I do not want to see any more Nightmare on Elm Street films because unlike the Friday the 13th films, where I feel like you can have Jason and keep doing it and doing it and doing it, Nightmare, yes, the concept is fantastic, and Wes Craven really created something special. But I need Robert Englund as Freddy. The remake just didn't cut it. Introduced a couple of very cool concepts that would have been magic if Robert Englund was Freddy. Um, and I know he doesn't want to do it anymore. He just feels like he can't. Although the Goldbergs was great, he did it, and I wouldn't be surprised if we were to get one more Nightmare film that now where they do the these sequels didn't exist and it takes place after whatever film. I wouldn't be surprised if we were able to get one of those with Robert Englund as Freddy one last time. And that I would be absolutely 100% for. But trying to do Nightmare again with a new Freddy, it's not for me, and I wouldn't watch it. I can't do it. Can't do it. Jason, 100% yes. Give me more, 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 more. Uh, the Mist. Jackie Earl Haley was not bad. That movie was ass, though. See, I think Jackie Earl Haley is a great actor. I just, I can't. He just wasn't Freddy to me. He just isn't. He just, it just took me out of it 100%. I just couldn't. I can't back it. Can't back it. Nope. Yeah, it has to be England, and unless we get some amazing, shocking surprise where they are working, New Line is working on a, you know, after many years sequel type thing that takes place after a certain of the films. I'm okay with Nightmare being what it is. The franchise, I'm extremely happy with it because Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger, and you know, but I need more Jason. I need more Friday the 13th. We can do it, folks. It's not that hard. Sean, what do I think of Lee Winnell writing the Escape from New York remake? I love him. I think he's great. Whether or not we are actually going to finally get that, I don't know. They've been saying we're going to get an Escape from New York for a decade. I just don't know. We'll see. I'm sure at some point something like that is going to happen. I know he just signed on for The Invisible Man with Blumhouse Universal, which is cool. And he seems to be spearheading this new monster movie thing over there, which it's cool. You know, Creature from the Black Lagoon is my favorite Universal monster, and then it's Frankenstein and Wolfman. Um, and I would love to see an updated Creature from the Black Lagoon, 100%. Guillermo del Toro, I mean, he's been, secretly in all his movies, he's been trying to make a Creature from the Black Lagoon. They've just come out differently. I mean, Shape of Water was the closest thing we're going to get to Guillermo's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Mmm. Mmm. The Mist. Okay. I disagree, but that's cool. Clint, did you like Upgrade? I loved it. I liked it. I did not love it. I wanted to love it. I felt like I was gonna love it, and the way everyone was talking about the movie to me, I thought I was gonna be, you know, head over taint for that film. But I ended up liking it. I didn't love it. Uh, Very cool concept. NES Addict. Hey, sorry I was eating dinner. No problem. NES back. No problem. Clint, I dug Venom too. Venom was alright. Yep, Venom was alright. Yes, very similar concept. My issue, Venom. Um, I remember when Venom hit the scene in Amazing Spider-Man. Todd McFarlane created Venom. I still have those original issues and the collected works. I just wish I just wish Sony would. I, I don't know. I want to see Venom with Spider-Man. I just want to see Venom with Spider-Man. It was fine. It was fine. I hope eventually we get to see Venom with Spider-Man. That just would be fun. Juan Architect does indeed live. Death of Lantern the remake. Hmm. This is going weird, guys. Sorry. This is something that's happening here. Greg, growing up, did you play a lot of board games? Any favorites? This is a sore subject with my wife and a lot of my friends. I'm not a big board game person. I didn't, that's one thing that I really didn't do a lot of growing up. You got to remember, folks, when I was 7 years old in 1984, I got a video camera and I started just making movies. I was constantly out there making silly movies, um, and that's what I do now. That's what it's what I've always done. Um, so I was outside a lot, and if I wasn't making movies, then I was outside playing with toys, creating scenarios, acting out, Star Wars, the Dark Crystal, whatever it was. Um, so I was outside a lot. Uh, there were board games, sure, that I enjoyed. I loved Mousetrap. I loved, later on when I was about 13 or 14, I loved Fireball Island, Crossfire, things like that. I enjoy things like that. Trouble. In '91, I got Nightmare, the VHS horror board game, which is hilarious, which I do have now. My good friend Andrew got me that a few years ago. Got it back for me. But so yeah, I wasn't a huge board game person. We do occasionally here do '80s board game nights, and it's fun to crack open a really shitty board game from the '80s that's based on like a property, based on a movie or a TV show, something like that. Like we've played the Family Ties game, we've played Saved by the Bell. Um, what else did we play? We played another one that was really just terrible. So that's fun, and we're gonna do it again coming up for Saturday night sleepover, not Saturday morning sleepover. Police Academy board game. I love Police Academy. 1 through 4. NES Addict top 5 '80s cartoons. Whew, top 5. Real Ghostbusters. Mask. Absolutely. 100% Mask. And no contest there. Um, I've got a whole episode down on the channel for my love of Mask, all my toys and everything. Um, let's see. I would also say anything Scooby Doo. I loved Scooby Doo. I'm a Hanna Barbarian. I love Hanna Barbera. So Scooby Doo, any iteration from the '80s. You know, even seeing the reruns, which we all did. The cartoon. I mean, I loved He-Man. Again, we've talked about it. Crappy cartoon, but I loved He-Man, Transformers. But you know, Muppet Babies is up there for me. Absolutely. I love Snorks. I like Smurfs. So yeah, I don't know. I can't even name five because there's just so many. I loved like a show that was only like it didn't last very long. It's called Turbo Teen. I love Turbo Teen. I like the Teen Wolf show, the cartoon. Um, yeah, Get Along Gang, 13 episodes, but it felt like it was like 5 years long. Like the Get Along. Shirt Tales was fantastic. You know, that stuff was great. Thundercats. Woo! Thundercats is another one that I feel like truly holds up still. Yeah, four correct. Hero Quest I liked. I guess I had Condor as a kid for Mask. Dude, I have a Masters of the Universe wine socket. You would love wind socket. Yep, I know what you're talking about with the wind socket, brother. I feel every kid had Condor. You know, that was like the most basic of the Mask figures that you could get was Condor. Every kid had Condor. I had almost all of the first and second series line of Mask, and I am almost done recollecting that certain line. I have a lot of them, but they're up there now. Again, you can check out my Mask video, but they're up there. The last two up top, that one, it's all Mask stuff. Just recollecting from my childhood. Not the whole series, because there was four in all, four series of the Kenner line. Did not like the last two very much. Definitely not the last one. Fraggle Rock, Kids Incorporated, absolutely. 50 cents on the yard sale, Masters of the Universe, visiting family. So I decided you see watching Denver the Last Dinosaur. He's your friend. That's right. I love Denver the Last Dinosaur. Loved it then. I still love it now. I watched that show. It's cheesy as hell, but I do make sure at least the intro is always a part of the Saturday morning sleepovers. It's fun to see people's faces light up when they, you know, are rediscovering these things again. And Denver is one of those cartoons where people are like, "Holy crap, I remember that." And the series is pretty easy to get too. It's not that bad. I've got Denver right over there. I also have a Denver the Last Dinosaur shirt. Denver's over there in the wall. Kicking theme song, man. That was another thing that was just amazing about '80s cartoons in general. The soundtracks, the opening themes were fantastic. So many of them, so many of them. And I actually have a large portion of the ones I love in my listening music rotation, year after year, day after day in my car. Gavin, remember Mr. Body, wear a muscle suit, bodysuit, the whole show about the human body. Absolutely. Curly hair, really skinny, sinewy. He was on PBS a lot too. NES Addict, I wish you lived in South Carolina. I've got family in North Carolina. I visit them off and on. Mad Balls, Greg. Well, I've got Mad Balls. There's some Mad Balls up there. It's more modern. But I do have a packaged Mad Balls wind up there. Man, Greg, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch the house tour video and home theater video. You gotta watch that, my brother. I show everything in all the house, all the geeky stuff, all the way. Your it is out. Your Death o' Lantern and your package is out there. Did you get Teen Ape? Did you get the mask, brother? Yes, Clint. Slim Good Body. Who Dat Whale? I'll admit it. I love Growing Pains theme song. No shame. Pfft, fuck that. No shame. Nothing. You shouldn't be ashamed of anything that you love. Again, 100% that song is in my listening rotation. I have 80s sitcom songs on my lists as well that I listen to all the time. Absolutely. You know, that's not Alan Thicke. It's BJ Thomas. People always thought that was Alan Thicke because Alan Thicke was also a singer. Alan Thicke wrote and sang the theme song to Different Strokes, one of my favorite television shows of all time. And he wrote the theme song to Facts of Life, and his wife sang Facts of Life. A lot of those songs are constantly in my head. I've said it before many times, but I think Different Strokes I sing or hum almost every single day. Now the world don't move to the beat of this one drum. Might be right for you. When I'm right for some, a man is born, a man of me, then along come true. NES Attic, 80s Crush, go. I had a lot of them. Soleil Moon Frye, I loved. But back then, we were the same age. Punky, Soleil, we were the same age. So I grew up at the same time as Punky did. Same with Fred Savage. We're the same age. So I was living that life, that Kevin Arnold life. But certainly as Soleil got older, whew, mm, buoyant. But I loved her. I loved Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Connelly. Um, Geez, there was a lot, you know. I was a Fergie guy from Kids Incorporated. She grew up to be quite a woman, but I dug her. I certainly had crushes from movies and shit like that. But yeah, those are the ones that always spring to mind. Elizabeth Shue, for sure. Yeah. Meredith Salinger, specifically in Dream a Little Dream. God damn! Greg, absolutely. Mr. Belvedere, 100%. Love that show. Still love that show. Clint does not like that show. I showed it in Saturday Morning Sleepover, and he was not a fan, but I don't. I love Mr. Belvedere. Streaks on the channel, never married before. Who cares when you drop kick your jacket as you came to the door? And yes, mine was Jodie Sweetin and Winnie Cooper. Absolutely, Winnie Cooper, Jodie Sweetin now, faux show. Winnie Cooper, I had a Winnie Cooper. I've talked about this before throughout the videos. Um, there was a girl, her name was Jennifer Sarah. She was the girl that got away, but I dated her growing up in the 80s, dated. But I was very, very good friends with her brothers, and her family, and was there a lot as an adolescent and into my early teens. And Jen Sarah was my Winnie Cooper. She looked like Winnie Cooper. She had that long black straight hair. She always wore the headbands. Uh, she just was my Winnie Cooper, but absolutely Winnie Cooper, 100%. Clint, yes, Adrienne Barbeau. I did. I mean, Adrienne Barbeau was still a thing for me. Susan Sarandon, I still think is a fox. But absolutely Adrienne Barbeau. Folks, I'm a fan. Was growing up, am now. I love curvy women, meatier women, but I love women with big natural breasts, curvy, little more meat on your bones type women. Um, my mom always would tell a story that when I was 4 years old, uh, I was kind of obsessed with the breast, but we were walking down the street and I said out loud as this woman was coming towards us, "Holy crap, Mom, look at the size of those boobies." And the woman laughed, and my mom was losing it. And it's just, it hasn't been the same since. I just love, I love that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, the Bob Newhart show. There was shows that like I saw because I lived with my great grandparents and my great aunt. So when there were shows on that a kid normally wouldn't be watching back then because of what it was more adults stuff. So I did see Newhart. I saw like crap that I wouldn't watch per se now, or I don't own. It's not a part of my 80s TV collection. But I definitely did watch those shows. Gavin, 100% hooray for boobies. Large, natural boobies. I ain't too proud to beg. People have their thing, man. I love a good set of eyes. I love a good smile. Cute, pretty smile. And I love the big natural breath. Greg, have I knew the seen the new TV show The Kids Are All Right? No, I have not. I know what it's about. Um, I don't know if I would like it or not. I'm not against watching it. You know, but I mean, obviously, I watch the Goldbergs, Stranger Things, and the Goldbergs so far have really captured that that true feeling for me. I mean, I was Adam Goldberg 100% and still am. I feel like if I ever was able to be in a room with Adam Goldberg, we would probably walk out of that room being best friends. Very similar. Tony, absolutely. I'm 42 this year, so I absolutely am old enough to remember the Christmas toy catalogs. Yes, the wish books. Sears, J.C. Penney's, they all had them. Hills department store. Hills is where the toys are. Absolutely. They were a staple. We That's how we would make lists for the most part for our Christmas lists, man. Crack open those wish lists. Check, check, check. Ooh, Star Wars, Masters of the Universe, GoBots, Transformers, Centurions, Sectors. Everything is right there for me. Mask, all of it, my friend. And yes, I still love season two. I would agree season one is better, but for me, it's like a back to back. It's one long friggin' book. I love Stranger Things, so. NES Addict, I'll be 38 in July. I'll be 42 in July. We're July babies. More in common. Can't wait for part three. Absolutely. In July. What a present. What a great present for us July babies. Stranger Things 3. July 4th, 1985. What a good year. 39 in September. Woohoo! You know, maybe I should do Gavin 38 May 1st. NES Addict. I mean, when that trailer came out of nowhere for the first season of Stranger Things, I was I was just like this. I mean, this somebody looked at me and was like, I'm going to make a show specifically for Chris Seaver, and that's what it was, and that's what I felt about in 2010 2011, whenever it was. I believe it was 2011 when Super 8 came out. I felt like J.J. Abrams opened a door and was spying on me like Rockwell. Somebody's watching me and was like, "Here, Chris, I'm going to make a movie that's specifically for you. Super 8." Woo! NES Addict, I am July 28th. That is my birthday, July 28th. A whole 42 years old. 42 years young is what I think. Why I don't look a day over 12. I certainly don't act a day over 12. Close enough. The ninth, close enough. We're still July babies. Leos. I, I'm also known as what people call Star Wars babies, 1977. I was doomed to adore Star Wars. I absolutely adore Star Wars. Star Wars was and always will be my first love. And it is a huge part of my life to this day. Greg, will I binge season 1 and 2 of Stranger Things before watching? Actually, I have season 1 and 2 on 4K Blu-ray, and I've watched them several times. I think I've seen each season probably 4 times each. So I'm good. I know my Stranger Things. NES addict. I'm actually a cancer. I grow on people. I'm thinking maybe I should do the toys slash Grail episode as a live show and get um, Casey and Tansky to do that because we were going to do that together separately anyway. But it would be fun to have you guys interacting with us as far as the toys and Grails were concerned as well. Clint, Solo, the best new Star Wars movie for you? Yes. I loved Solo. Absolutely. I think it's a whole lot of fun. I've probably seen the movie already about 5, 6 times. Um, but out of the new Star Wars, for me, The Force Awakens is my favorite of the new batch. Absolutely. But I get it, man. I mean, Solo was fantastic. Such a rollicking Star Wars adventure. Ooh. NES Addict, dude, I saw the USS Flag at a yard sale once, but my mom wouldn't buy it because it was too big. What a missed opportunity. If she only knew. you know? Um, I wasn't a huge G.I. Joe person. I definitely watched the cartoon. I had some of the toys and I read some of the comics, but it wasn't a huge thing. And out of the toys, I only had the certain ones that I really loved, which were the Dreadnoughts. Yes. Zartan, 100%. Cobra Commander, Destro, for sure. Sergeant Slaughter, yes. But my friend Greg, holy crap. Now, my friend Greg was a G.I. Joe Transformers nut. And I had a lot of Transformers, but woo! And this was back in the 80s, so this kid's room, when you walked into Greg's room, it was Transformers and G.I. Joe. That's what it was. And he was the only, probably the only kid in Wellsville, where I grew up, that had the USS Flag. And it took up his room, basically. But he had, I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. Sean, I used to covet my G.I. Joe lunchbox. Yeah, man, you should. It's a shame you should still have your G.I. Joe lunchbox. I like to get the lunch boxes that I used to have. Problem is, some of these idiots out there, these ridiculous price gougers, will, they're like fucking. There'll be a lunchbox from 20 to 60 to $70, which is ridiculous. I wouldn't pay. 10 is a lot for me as far as a lunchbox is concerned. I was able to get two of the lunchboxes that I 100% had when I was little. One was a gift, and one I paid $5 for, both with thermoses. And that's up there. My mask lunchbox and my baby's lunchbox. I absolutely had cheap prices, but come on. Some of you fools out there, you price gougers. Give me a break. What the deuce? Man, some weird's going on. Hope it's not messing up too much for you guys. Man, I appreciate you guys still sticking around. This is fantastic. If you want, I'll still stay on here for another like hour. If you guys want to, it'll be my longest live show to date. Till this phone overheats, because I'm doing this live on my phone. I have to take down the quality from the phone so it doesn't overheat fully. Otherwise, this thing would have overheated a while ago. So I think it's 720 instead of 1080 or 4K. Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, it's funny. I did watch the Dukes of Hazzard and I like the Dukes of Hazzard, but it's something now as an adult. It's something that I don't need. Although I certainly would watch it again. I think it was great. Duke Boys, man. Daisy Duke, Shamo, Roscoe P. Coltrane. Who dat whale? Chris, I gotta head to bed, buddy. I got work at 10 p.m. I could easily stay and talk, but I gotta get my 3-year-old to bed also. Have a great night, bud. Thank you so much, Who dat whale, for showing up. I always appreciate it. It's awesome. I hope you're enjoying the channel. I hope you enjoy these live shows. Let's meet again next week when we do another live show. NES Addict, remember Airwolf, of course. I've talked about I talked about it on our 1984 episode too, but I wasn't a huge Airwolf fan because I was very specific about the leads, and if I felt the leads weren't cool enough or were too old for me for some reason, I didn't like the show. And I wasn't a huge Jan Michael Vincent fan, so Airwolf didn't. I was always like, pff, even then, even in 1984 when Airwolf premiered, I remember just being like, who's this guy think he is? Michael Knight? He's no Michael Knight. That helicopter that doesn't even talk. You know, I was weird. Sean, I miss Mama's Family. I saw Mama's Family only because of my family watching Mama's Family. It wasn't something that I watched myself. Um, Greg, did you ever play Altered Beast on Sega? Of course I did. You know, and I play it recently to show River some of those old Sega games, and Altered Beast just does not hold up. Um, Gavin, I know what you're doing. The go go. Who dat whale? I love the '80s talk, definitely, brother. Fantastic. Thank you for showing up, and we will keep talking, my brother. Oh, let's talk Tears for Fears. NES, let's talk Tears for Fears. I like Tears for Fears. It wasn't my favorite, but it definitely was a big part of the '80s and the music that was all around. Fun fact, folks. I don't know if you already know this. You might if you have followed me forever, but the majority of the music that I still listen to this day is still '80s. It's always been '80s. It's never really changed. I like '80s music. I like fantasy metal, like fantasy power metal, and I love ska, and that's about it. Soundtracks, I group into the '80s stuff as well. Same with '80s metal, but certain things like that. But that's all I listen to is power metal, '80s music and ska. Or if there's a modern band that sounds '80s, that's what I listen to. Like there's a band called Chromeo that is absolutely fantastic, and they're a modern. They're just two dudes, but they do '80s right. They sound like they are straight from the '80s. It is some of the. It's so good, so good. Clint Eastwood. No, no. And yes, oh man, I love it. Gavin, that song from the Max and Thunderdome soundtrack, I still dig it. And yes, Addict, I love Phil Collins, and The Air Tonight reminds me of Myrtle Beach. I wasn't a huge Phil Collins fan, but I liked some of the songs. Truth be told, my favorite Phil Collins song really isn't a Phil Collins song. Um, I believe it's uh, Philip Bailey, his song, and Phil was on it, but it's remembered as a Phil Collins song, but it's Easy Lover. That's my favorite. I did not buy Tears for Fears. No. Genesis. No. Um, no, wasn't a big Genesis fan. Although Land of Confusion is magic. I can certainly name some of my favorite '80s bands. That I, as I said, still listen to this day. But the Cars are up there, absolutely. The Police, Talking Heads, Devo, the Bangles, love the Bangles. Madonna, Oingo Boingo is my favorite band of all time. But my favorite performer of all time is hands down Michael Jackson. 100% Michael Jackson. And Prince. As I said, I love Prince too, but Michael Jackson is number one. Um, but I love Human League. I love the Thompson Twins. And soundtracks, man. Kenny Loggins was the king. Ooh, I talk about it in the '84 episode, but I like the Chicago ballads, Peter Cetera, all the Peter Cetera ballads that came out in the '80s. They were gold, brother, gold, and from Karate Kid 2 as well, gold. Steve Perry, Journey, '80s Journey, Steve Perry, Off on His Own, Oh Sherry. I like Rod Stewart. I like Tina Turner. Some Bruce Springsteen. But yeah, all that stuff is in rotation, man. All that stuff. And then there's some one-hit wonder stuff that I like as well. But as far as full bands, I just named a good chunk of them that I listen to this day. The Mystic Knights. Mystic Knights. Well, I mean, more when Danny took over. Mystic Knights was more his brother's stuff, and yes, he was in it, but that was more experimental and theater. Um, and I guess they were still Mystic Knights when they did Forbidden Zone, but then Danny took it 1979 and did the Oingo Boingo, all of that. Favorite band of all time, Oingo Boingo. I love some of the hair bands. Absolutely, I like Bon Jovi. I do like some Poison songs. I like Dokken. They're more metal. I love Dio. When it comes to that stuff, Metallica was great. Twisted Sister for sure. NES Addict, you've inspired me. I'm doing an '80s chat. Hell yeah, man. That's all we really talk about here is my movies and '80s stuff. That's what it's all about. I was never a huge King Diamond fan. I like him. I think for comedy purposes. Um, Same with Manowar. Manowar is hilarious. You know. But yeah, I would think that out of the heavy metal that I loved, and again, all this stuff was because of not just MTV, but because of my uncles and my mom. They listened to a lot of crazy stuff, and they got me into a lot of the stuff that most kids just were not listening to. Most of my humor and my weirdness comes from my mom and my uncles. Um, and my uncle John Seaver was in so many bands and is still in bands. And I mean, he was in new wave bands, punk bands. He was in rock bands. He was in a ska band in the '80s. I mean, he was all of that stuff was just pushed on me, and so I was able to hear a lot of stuff that kids my age in the '80s wasn't, not readily listening to unless it was on the radio. Oh, I love Cyndi Lauper as well. Um, but Dio is king. Absolutely, Clint. Dio is king. Too many loincloths? What are you talking about? Too many loincloths? Oh, for Manowar? And I love fantasy metal for sure, but what's funny about Manowar is that they took themselves and still to this day take themselves so serious. They truly believe they are the greatest metal band of all time. You can't say metal, you got to say metal. Metal. Oh, no metal at all. Wimps and posers, leave the hall. Heavy metal. That's Manowar. It's just I can't, woo, hilarious. You know. But in general now, certainly from late '80s going into the '90s, 2000s, the power metal, the fantasy metal, that's like that stuff. Fucking love it. Love it. You know, riding on the back of your dragon into the dawn of battle. Like that stuff is, yes, pumps me up, pumps me. Just do it. You got to. You got to do it. You got it. You know what is best in life: to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of the women. Ah, that is the metal I like the most. And that's what appealed to me with Dio, is that he had those visuals, and every now and again in the lyrics it would be mystical and magical. We're off to the witch, and we may never, never, never come home. Love that shit. Never gonna resurrect Bonejack. I'm sorry, but that's a great name for a metal band. Resurrect Bonejack. Never gonna happen. Although there is the idea. Casey keeps wanting me to do it. I don't know if we'll do it, but we there's the thought of possibly doing a comic book, the Teenage and Bonejack comic book, and we would only do it if it would not get made unless the fans made it get made. He keeps pushing for that. I don't know about that. I wasn't a big Cure fan. I definitely, I certainly liked the mainstream songs that everybody loved. I mean, it was playing all the time back then, but it's not in my rotation now. Nothing against them. It's just not something that really hit with me. How about you? Yeah, it's Gavin. How about you? I get it. Bonejack, they're long dead. Other than the fans who were getting the teenage masks, the exclusively made. Greg Pfeiffer, which you still didn't tell me if you got the mask yet or not. Yeah, so far this is the longest live chat we've done. This is good. I've really been enjoying it, guys. I thank you. Thank you so much for the entertainment. I wish we were all in a room together and just geeking out. We'd have a fucking blast, man. And that's part of what Saturday Morning Sleepover is all about. That's why I do that event in the home theater. You know? Like-minded people enjoying the shit that we loved. You know? The nostalgia, it's all there. It's part of the happiness, part of the smiles. And you have to be a true warrior, because it takes a lot out of you. Sitting there for 10 to 12 hours watching nothing but 80s and early 90s sitcoms and commercials and television shows and cartoons all edited together. Somebody asked me, I can't remember who, but how long does it take me to put a Saturday sleepover together? It can take about a week, but I love it. And that's only because I'm scouring. I'm scouring to get the best stuff that I can around the internet to then throw into my software and edit it all together. And it usually is about 3 discs, sometimes 4, depending on how far people want to go. About 4 hours each. And it's just nonstop. It's back to back. We don't, there's no like real breaks. When the first disc is done, you just plop in the second one and you just keep going, Greg, I have heard of that band. I've listened to some of the songs. It's fine. It's fine. And awesome. Glad you did get the mask. The spirit of Teen Ape compels you. Holy shit. This laptop is on fire. It's the only way. Well, I guess I could close it down and just read off of the phone. I wonder how hot the phone is getting. Oh, NES Addict. Gotta get kids to bed. Fun times. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. It was awesome to talk with you. Absolutely. If you were here, if we were closer, we would probably be best friends. Yes, everyone go to the NES Addict channel on YouTube. It's fantastic. I've watched a bunch of his episodes. If you love the vintage games, he's your man. Come back. I try to do a live show every week. And please watch some of our episodes. There's the house tours and the home theaters. There's the video, the movie collections. But there's some great themed episodes down there, not just with the Star Wars, but with horror and 80s in general. So thank you for showing up. Much appreciated. It was a good yapping, good geeking out. Hope to see you again. I try to do it every week. I usually do them Saturday nights. But if this works for Friday nights, I'll try to do Friday nights as well. But yay. And again, thank you for all the people who are still here. It's awesome. We're going to be going on 3 hours coming up. That's wild. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm out of drink. Guess okay. So I'll try some more of these god awful dark chocolate chip peas. Clint, I'm still here. Do it. Kill me. Come on. Clint, I can't remember. Did we talk about The Predator? What did you think of The Predator? The new Black & Decker flick. I can't remember if we talked about it or not. I think we did. Did you guys see it? What did you think of The Predator? Run! Get to the chopper! Come on! Go Hagen. Come on. The people ear. Agreed. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. I could see both their sensibilities in the film. I thought it was pure cheese, but I really liked it. I wish that Arnold would have said yes and done that ending, done that cameo at the end, instead of what they did. And then I know they had the Ripley ending as well. Either one of those would have been better than the actual ending that they had. Sean agreed. Loved it till the end. That's how I feel about the new Halloween film. Absolutely loved the new Halloween film up until the very end. The very end just didn't. Shouldn't have been like that. Yes, Clint. The very end was rough. It was a little like. Whew. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Jimmy Van Brunt was yabba dabba doo. Folks, remember, never forget that the monster cereals were around all the time. They weren't a seasonal cereal. I'm just bringing it up because I'm thinking about it. Makes me mad. They didn't start going seasonal until 2010. I remember. Anytime we wanted to, we could go to the shelves of the grocery store and pick out Count Chocula or Frankenberry. Now it's seasonal. Now I have to hoard up for my Count Chocula. Greg, should an Ewok? I would love to see an Ewok in the new trilogy. I do not hate the Ewoks like so many revisionist fans do. Um, I loved them then, and I love them now. I have no problem with the Ewoks whatsoever. So yeah, throw me an Ewok, man. It would be cool. Go to the moon of Endor again. You know, they're out there. Why not? If it served a purpose. I mean, if it was, just some weird cameo or like walking in front of the camera walking by, there was an Ewok, it's not needed. And it would just be a comical moment. Why aren't some of these shows on DVD? The Ewok movie. I actually like both of those Ewok movies. I have them. I have a poster of, I think, which one do I have? Caravan of Courage or the Battle for Endor? I have one of them. I think I have the Battle for Endor. Given to me by Mr. Bobby Heckman, one of my bestest friends of all time. But why don't we have the Hogan family on DVD? Why don't we have just the 10 of us on DVD? Why don't we have further seasons of Who's the Boss other than this first season on DVD? Silver Spoons? First season only? Why don't we have more? Hmm? Why, folks? Why? Head of the Class? Why do we not have Head of the Class on DVD? These were shows that lasted seasons. Makes no sense to me. It's appalling. Exactly, Clint. Why no Dr. Alien on Blu-ray? Boggles my mind. And they were on a roll too. Dakota and Full Moon there. I mean, they were knocking out those Blu-rays one after another, the two of them. Give us that Dr. Alien Blu-ray. Or the original title, I Was a Teenage Sex Mutant. Which is when I originally saw it. That was the title when I originally saw it on USA Up All Night. I Was a Teenage Sex Mutant. Probably in 91. Greg, I've talked about it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Misfits of Science. You are right. It was one season. I have a story that I'll never forget about Misfits of Science that I can still recollect. 1985. I did talk about it on one of our shows. I have it. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, here it is. Misfits of Science. This is the official German DVD release, but it is in English. There are no weird subtitles or weird. It's all in English, but you can get this. This is the official, complete series of Misfits of Science. Absolutely fantastic. Love that show. Still love it. I wish it went on forever. But I have a very funny story about Misfits of Science, about me, 1985, at my cousin Jess's house, and Crumbs and Misfits of Science, and my uncle playing a prank on me. Clint Kelly, Killer Machine! Killer Machine! Absolutely. I want that song. Billy Jane, Billy Jacoby, same person. Stuart Fratkin, Linnea Quigley. Got about a half hour more, folks, and then I'm out. I am gone. 9 o'clock, I'm splitting. So what you guys want to talk about? What questions do you have for Old Man Sievich? In this polar vortex. Finally, it's about to, it looks like it's warming up tomorrow. 35 degrees. It's been a balmy 2 or less the last week. It's going to feel like a damn heat wave tomorrow. I think it's getting up to 50 midweek, but then it's going right back down into the low 30s and 20s and more snow. Here in beautiful western New York, upstate New York. Clint, I do remember. I mean, there are still elements of Airplane 2. There's still some jokes that I love in Airplane 2. But yes, it does not hold up the way I remember it holding up. Airplane is my favorite comedy of all time. The Zucker, Abrams, Zuckers trio is, they're geniuses, and they had nothing to do with Airplane 2. But they kept, I mean, Airplane 2, there's still some really funny gags in Airplane 2. Well, Top Secret is the second favorite of the Zucker, Abrams, Zucker trio. Top Secret is a goddamn classic, a lost gem that more people need to see. It is fantastic. Greg. To see ya brought to get that booty yak 'em, leg 'em down and smack 'em yak 'em. Co got to be. Yo, shit. I can recite all of the jive in Airplane. My favorite goddamn comedy of all time. Still, I don't know how. I've probably seen that movie 100 times. I still laugh at that movie every single time I watch it. So good. One for each other and all for one. The three brave amigos are we. Brother to brother and everyone, a brave amigo. She does, Greg. She does speak giant. Just hang loose, blood. We're gonna catch up on a rebound on a medicine. What it is, big mama? My mama raised no dummy. I'll talk a rap. Call me some slack, Jack. Coulda say can't hang 6-7 up. Clint. Stoinky Beach is your favorite comedy. Listen, I ain't gonna befront you. Stoinky Beach is fantastic. Stoinky Beach is a classic 1986 sex comedy. But it's not. It can't be your favorite. But it's damn good. The fuck just happened? What's going on here? God damn. All this bullshit happening. Come on now. Some weird stuff. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. I'm trying to maintain this well-maintained frontage. Stop skipping. All this shit. You guys still see me? What's going on here? Is there anybody still watching? I'm not getting a lot of questions. Or you're just not asking them. Okay, good. Clint, you're driving the whole time? Sure. You're a daredevil. I see you. Ewa. Yeah, just keep this thing off and on. Just keeps glitching. It's finally it's like it's overheating. It's feeling the heat. Feel the heat. Yeah, I don't want to hear it, Clint. Coming home from a shoot. Shut up. You're not shooting what you need to be shooting. What you were born to shoot. I don't want to hear this shit. 6-hour drive. Pfft. It's not from my house. Clint and I will be reunited in April in Orlando. I can't wait. It's been too long. It'll actually be about a year since we saw each other. Quite a shame. Quite a shame. When it was only 6 hours. Yeah, well, you ruined that. Those are 6 hours you'll never get back. Thanks to you. TV guides, folks. You guys have some TV guides, old 80s TV guides. You don't want them? Send them my way. We can make a deal. In fact, you guys, listen, come to me. Come to my email. Let's make a list. I'll write a bunch of 80s stuff that I'm still trying to recollect from all the things that I loved. You want to make some some trades for some of my films? We can do that. We can do that. Oh, people also like I closed down my PayPal account, so the only way you can get any stuff is if it's cash um, or trades at the moment. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I want to do with the rest of my life and my quote unquote career. And I just want a fresh start, and stupidly I shut down the PayPal until I figure out what I want to do going forward. So there is no PayPal. Um, and I know there's people out there who wanted to grab the Teen Ape mask and possibly get some more of the movies. Well, you got to do it old school, like it was in the '80s before the internet, snail mail, trades, all that good stuff. Clint, I've had it with your lip. Stingy Jack is back for the attack. Straight gangsta Mac, Bernie Mac. And that's a fact, Jack. Stingy Jack. Zero. You think I'd do that? You think I'd give that away? Hell no. That's reserved for only the finest of women. The finest pug-jowled women. Get Blumpkins. Slowing down, folks. I guess we're losing steam here. I won't trade for Jankum. Jankum for Jankum. That's what it is. It's like best of the best. No retreat, no surrender. You want Jankum? You best give me some Jankum. You're excited to see that remake, Sean. I'm glad you're excited. It's the subpariest tour de force flick you'll ever see. Woo! Also, anybody got those? We got those LJN big ass rubber WWF. I really want my Roddy back. That was my prize. I had about 6 LJN WWF rubber figures back in the day. Roddy was always my favorite. Roddy is still my favorite WWF performer, other than the Hulkster. I liked Roddy. I liked Hulkster. Hacksaw Jim Duggins. Junkyard Dog. But Roddy had it, man. Roddy was a goddamn showman. And funny. So funny. I hope you guys are watching the shows too, man. Watching the shows that myself and Tansky and Casey are producing. It's good shows, man. We love talking about all this stuff, and we hope you guys love it too, or enjoying it, giving us feedback. We now have something like, I think it was 382 subscribers, which was great, awesome. But I think only like maybe 15 of you guys are seeing this stuff. I don't know. It's YouTube's weird ass algorithms that and just the way they pull shit. Sometimes people don't see this stuff unless you like hit that bell to get the notifications. But then even then, sometimes you're not seeing those notifications. So who knows how many people see this stuff? Sean, any new horror I'm looking forward to? Yeah, I want to go see Happy Death Day to You, the sequel to Happy Death Day. Loved that movie. Real surprise for me. I loved it. And that is coming out Valentine's Day. But so is Alita Battle Angel, or what I know as Battle Angel Alita. I want to see that too in IMAX. I got to see that. But hoping that the lady and I can go off and see Happy Death Day to You, and my son and I are going to go see Alita Battle Angel for show. And of course, It Chapter 2. I can't wait for that later this year. Clint, I have my signed They Live photo from Roddy, nicest celeb I've ever met. He is one of the nicest celebs I've ever met as well. Roddy was amazing. Love Roddy and They Live. 100% agree. Gavin, sweet. Sean, I was surprised how much I liked it. Clint Kelly, Alita is going to be so good. I hope so. I hope so. I love the anime. 1993, 94 is when I saw the anime. Loved it. It's so good. Never read the manga, but that anime and the original series of that, so good. I love Robert Rodriguez. I love James Cameron. I think visually it's going to be a feast. IMAX 3D, are you kidding me? Can't wait. Friel, sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Well, I'm about to shut it down at 9 o'clock. It's been 3 hours. Just watch it back. We talked about a lot of stuff. And I see that you saw the opening of your gift, Friels. Thank you so much for sending that fun care package of 80s goodness. It was awesome. I really appreciate it. But Friels, I mean, we talked about it. We talked about movies. We talked about 80s stuff. We talked about He-Man. Talked about lots and lots of stuff. But I'll be back. I'll be back live next week. Every week I try to do it live. We'll try to have a bigger theme. If I can get the boys on, then we'll do that big 80s toys / our toy grails that we still want, or that we want to get. Greg, have you ever seen the movie Rock and Rule, 1983? Maybe. There's not a lot of stuff I haven't seen. If it appealed to me, either back then or discovering it again in the 90s or 2000s. But maybe, possibly. Refresh my memories. What was awesome was at the end of, because I try to end Saturday morning sleepover with a either made for TV movie from the 80s, or just an 80s movie in general. And this last one we did, people hadn't seen Thrashin' from 1986, which is fantastic skateboard movie. Josh Brolin, Robert Russler, Red Hot Chili Peppers. It is ridiculously stupid, but so goddamn good. I love it, love it, love it. And some people had not seen it. So we showed Thrashin' in the home theater, and people loved it. People were laughing. It was great. It's a great movie. If you have not seen Thrashin', please do it. So good. The original Bones Brigade is in that film. It's just stupidity. It's so good. Clint, absolutely, it is the best skateboard movie for sure. Friels, any deals on DVDs at this time? I'm not really selling anything. Again, I shut down my PayPal, so you got to do it old school, either cash or trade for 80s stuff. But there is, the Death of Lantern, the remake. It is ready. It is 100% ready. It's got an audio commentary. and we put the short film Stoinkmere Before Christmas is also on this as well. But there it is, man. Greg, yes, the daggers and the ramp locals. It was like it's very cheesy, like Romeo and Juliet, but with skateboarding, and great performances all around. Robert Russler is just so ridiculous in that movie. But I love thrashing. Yes, hang on to that DVD, man. I have DVD and Blu-ray because for some reason the Blu-ray only has the movie. It doesn't have any of the special features, but the DVD has the special features. So I'm keeping the DVD for the special features. Um, and the Blu-ray because of the updated picture, and it looks great, especially on the new home, on the upgraded home theater, because we upgraded to 120 inches for the screen, and the new projector we have, fucking looks fantastic. Um, Robert Russler, it's funny, like I was at a Horror Hound many years ago, and Robert Russler was there, um, doing the autograph thing and pictures and everything. And I just walked by his table and I just yelled, "Daggers rule!" And he was like, "Hey, hey, 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 come here, come here, come here, come here, come here." And he was like, "You're all right, man. You're all right." And he took one of his pictures and he signed it, and he gave it to me for free. I'll always remember it. It was so awesome of him. Greg, were you a fan of Gleaming the Cube? I wasn't. I wasn't. I like Christian Slater enough, but for me, Gleaming the Cube was too serious. Too serious. Um, I want my skateboarding to be fun and stupid, and that's thrashing. Love it. What do you thrash? What do you got? So good. There's some stuff in thrashing that is just like, why is this in it? But it's so rad that it's in it, but it doesn't belong in it. It's just weird. It's just like a weird, almost sight gaggy ish type shit that's in thrashing, but it's not the type of movie it is. But I love it. Somebody asked Rad, what do I think of Rad? That was the BMX movie. I don't really like Rad that much. I know Sean Robert, my buddy Sean Robert. Um, he's got a great 80s site out there. Check out Sean Robert's 80s site. I'm not a huge Rad dude. I don't think the performances are that great. Not very memorable for me. Lord Laughlin, of course, is in the film. The best thing about that movie for me is when they BMX dance. There's a whole dancing sequence with bikes in Rad, and that's the best part of Rad for me. But no, thrashing all the way. Bones Brigade. Check out if you're a 80s skateboard fan. I'm sure. I mean, if you saw it in the 80s, that's when I did because there were friends that I had. One in particular, his name is Will Walden, and he was a professional skateboarder. He went on to be a professional skateboarder. But he grew up in Wellsville, and he was a buddy of mine, him and his skateboarding friends. But that's how I saw the Bones Brigade Search for Animal Chin. And that movie, that VHS is hilarious. And I've taken some of the slang from that, and it's in a bunch of the Chris Seaver movies, which is hilarious. Clint knows what I'm talking about. Greg, did I like Turbo Kid? I did. I did like Turbo Kid. I like the aesthetic. I like what they were going for. Obviously, that '80s vibe, that '80s feel. There's so much to like in that movie. Unfortunately, so far, and I've seen about an hour of Summer of '84. Their other '80s homage movie. It just doesn't sit well with me. It didn't. It felt a little too pushed, a little too forced. It didn't feel authentic to me. Um, like something like Stranger Things. Super 8 or Goldbergs. It just didn't sit well with me. The name for Gleam of the Cube was changed for TV. It was called A Brother's Vengeance. Yes. Yes. What about the '90s thrashing, but with rollerblades, airborne? Friels. What about the Dirt Bike Kid? No, I don't like the Dirt Bike Kid either. I like Peter Billingsley, but Dirt Bike Kid didn't do anything for me. Clint, yes, we did watch Turbo Kid together, and we did love it. Absolutely. That's the stuff that, man, that's the stuff I want to make, man, you know? But it's like, costs money. Does anybody even care? Clint and I wrote a great movie that will probably never see the light of day. It's a crying shame. Ooh, we're getting close. It's 8:48. I think I'm going to shut this down at 9 o'clock, everybody. So it's been a long, awesome watch. I think people will actually go back and watch this who didn't show up for the live show. I don't know. It's a lengthy one. People might have to do it in chops, in sections. 3 hours. Whew, I like that though. I feel like if we do that Toys Grails show, live show, that too will probably end up being 3 hours long. Because there's a lot to talk about with the toys. Toys we grew up with, toys we love, toys we want to recollect again, toys we still have. Consider it a divorce. Coming up, we're doing I try to alternate with the Saturday morning things. I do the Saturday morning sleepover, but I also do Saturday night sleepover, which is we do like '80s board games, and then we'll do back to back '80s movies. Um, so we do about four different, and we try to stay in like a genre, like either '80s sex comedy, '80s action, '80s horror, '80s fantasy. Um, and we're doing that sometime in March. Well, I think it's early March. So I got a lot going on in March and April. Just not a lot going on in February. Wah, wah, wah. It's the doldrums, folks. It's probably my most depressing time of the year. Horror anthologies to watch. Friels, I dig it, man. Don't worry about it. You still showed up. I always appreciate it. Sean, any suggestions for horror anthologies to watch? Well, I mean, the greatest horror anthology of all time is Creepshow, my favorite George Romero film. Creepshow, I watch probably twice every single year. I love that movie. I also absolutely adore the 2007 film Trick or Treat. That is a great anthology horror film. Um, I kind of like Tales of Halloween, which was newer. You can find it on Netflix, and some great filmmakers contributed to that one. Specifically, Mike Mendez, which has my favorite segment in that movie. Greg, I can hold my breath for a long time. That's right. Great segment. Clint, Mike Mendez segment in Tales is still good. Absolutely. For me, it's the best one. There's some weak ones in there too. I wish for me, Neil Marshall's segment did not resonate for me. I felt like he could do better because he's got three movies there that for me I just think are top shit, man. Dog Soldiers, The Descent, and Doomsday. I wasn't a big fan of Centurion, but those other ones. But his segment, not so much. I'm curious, Neil Marshall's Hellboy. I wonder how this is going to turn out. Um, I am a fan of the comic. I have many of the graphic novels. I love Guillermo's two Hellboy movies. Um, and I don't know, I was kind of, I didn't have much of a reaction over the trailer to the new rebooty Hellboy um, that Neil Marshall has done. David Harbour seems like it's okay. I definitely I don't think I am a fan of the new prosthetics. That's for sure. I think they kind of missed the boat on that one. But listen, once April hits, we'll see. We shall see if that movie is going to be good. Hellboy 2 is a fucking classic in my book. I would agree. It's not my favorite Guillermo del Toro film, but it's up there. It's fantastic. I mean, we all know April. We're Endgame, brother. Avengers Endgame. That is what it's all about. Um, Siler Legacy. Hello, Siler. You just showed up. Where I'm about to leave, Siler, but thank you for popping in. The prosthetics do make Hellboy look like an addict. Yeah, it's just very, very odd. It's interesting why they went that way. Sean, did I see the new Hellraiser? Fucking abysmal. Andrew and I, we like to torture ourselves and watch these like shitty fucking sequels that come out for these movies. These like no talent fucking loathsome sequels, and we do it to ourselves. Partly because it's fun to mock them, and I guess we enjoy the pain together. But yeah, fucking not. It's not even a Hellraiser. For me, Hellraiser ended at 4. 1 through 4 are the Hellraiser movies for me. So, Friels, Hobbs and Shaw. It looks entertaining, man. I'm not a giant Fast and Furious fan at all. I get the appeal. But yeah, I love The Rock. I like Jason Statham. I love the Transporter films for Jason Statham. No John Wick. But yeah, totally. I'll watch Hobbs and Shaw. Looks fun. Siler. Yeah, I mean Siler. We've been doing this for about 3 hours now, and I'm about to close down, brother. Sorry. Yes, I always appreciate everybody who pops on and comes through here. It's awesome. Sean, it was terrible. Gavin, any fan of the Puppet Master movies? Absolutely, I love the Puppet Master movies. I love 1 through 6 of the original Full Moon Puppet Master movies. Absolutely hated that new Puppet Master movie from Cinestate Fangoria. Oh my god. Terrible. Fucking terrible. Friels, yeah, I have some of the Hellraiser graphic novels. 100% agree. The World Needs Crank 3. Agreed. I love those two Crank movies. Siler, well, love the Saturday morning sleepover vid. Makes me want to try and set one up for my friends. Hey man, you gotta have that passion. You gotta have that power. You gotta be a warrior inside to rock 8 to 12 hours of that stuff. You gotta really put a great program together. I take about a week to edit the programming for that, and it's a joy every single time. Smile on my face, sometimes tears. Greg, I have seen Manborg. I'm not a big fan of those Astron 6 dudes. Um, Siler, it shows and it's great, yeah. As I said, I'm thinking of doing during a Saturday morning sleepover, I might do like a fan, fans. You're not staying at my home, but you certainly can come out if you want to make that drive and be a part of a Saturday morning sleepover. Any fan that did that, I would also have them on the show, a Crept from the '80s episode or whatever. It would be a horror episode or whatever, but to talk about it and to maybe talk about your why you made the drive to come out to be a part of something like that. But I think it would be fun. Casey's always trying to get me to do a Saturday morning sleepover road show, but I don't think he's actually sat down and thought of the logistics of something like that and where the money would come from to do something like that and the copyright issues and all of that stuff. I think he's just dreaming, having that pipe dream of man, Chris, this is a great idea. You should take it on the road type thing. He keeps pushing it, but there's a lot that would go into something like that. But I would do it at a convention if they would allow me to set something up like that. Definitely at a local theater or comic book shop or whatever to get some like-minded people in there, show it on projector or a big TV and do the same thing but just somewhere else. But I enjoy hosting in my home theater. We can fit about 15 people down there tops. That's about it, um, and that's pushing it. But it's always a great time, and I love seeing people react and respond to it. Um, Sean gave a road trip. I'm down. Our schedule lines up. How far are we in New York from Texas anyway? It would be a very long way, Siler. But yeah, ooh, we're about a minute away from 9. I mean, I can stretch it a little bit more. I can stretch it maybe 15 minutes more, but we're at 184 minutes now that we've been doing this. Um, this definitely has been the longest live show, but I've really loved it, man. It's been awesome. Um, as I say at the top of every show and at the end of every show, this is one of the things that brings me joy. This channel is one of the things that brings me joy, makes me happy. I love interacting with all you folks. So fun, so great. I feel like I'm in a room with a bunch of nerds just geeking out, talking about like-minded stuff. Also, I like these constructive criticisms and arguments, the fun arguments. That's fun too because we're not going to agree on everything. I like a lot of things that people may not like. I don't like a lot of things that people may like. What have it? Either way, hither or dither. It's fun to talk about all that stuff and find out why or um, the different interests. It's always fun, man. It's always fun. So yeah, let's do some housekeeping here. We'll talk about. I mean, if you're thanks for chatting. Love you, brother. Love you, Clint. Thank you for popping on. Thank you for risking your life driving and popping on the chat. I would hope that you have voice activation and you can talk to it and it'll type it for you. I don't know how you're doing this, magical man, but you shouldn't be risking your life. Clint, you should pop on every time we do these live shows. This was great. This was good to have another member of the group popping on here. Um, of course, we talk. We talk every week, Clint and I, and I'm excited to see him in April. It's been a long time. And he's getting married next week, so I will of course be congratulating him and all that stuff. And you know, Clint, I think your wedding present is going to be Universal, you know, or Disney or whatever, as you're joining us. Oops, cat's out of the bag. Siler, try to make the next show early next time, Chris. Yeah, again, do you guys? I mean, do you want me to do Friday or Saturday nights? Because I'm good for either, unless there's something going on. It seems to be hard for a lot of folk, but I mean, we've been doing this, and it seems like consistently there's been about 12 to 15 people in and out, at least watching, maybe not commenting, but I don't know. And I try to do it around 6 o'clock. 2.5 to 3 hour show. It's great fun. Great fun. I appreciate it. I love everybody that comes by. Their comments have been great. I love chatting with you guys. Not only does it make me happy, but it also brings that nostalgia back. I love hearing your stories as well, your 80s stories, the stuff that you love. It's always great. Always great. I feel you, man. You got that. You got to get the glow to grow, man. You got to have that glow to grow. Bruce Leroy knows. Direct your pizza to Daddy Green's Pizza. All right, folks. Well, this is it. Again, thank you. Join me next week. It'll either be Friday or Saturday, but I always put it up a couple days beforehand. I post more on Instagram than I do anywhere else. I mean, I guess I always post on the Warlock Home Video Network Facebook page, but I think on the Instagram, which is Warlock HVN. You can find me on there. Um, Post a bunch of crap, but I always post when new shows are dropping, when the live shows are dropping. So find me there, man. Uh, Thanks all you guys. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see you next week. Huzzah!